Alright everybody, welcome to the final part of adding fractions. This is basically level 3. We are now pretty much opening the floodgates. So in case you want to know what we're going to be doing in this video, here is what we are doing. It's the final part. We are going to go to level 3. We are now no longer going to level 1 or 2. We'll be focusing on applying both knowledges of both levels, of course both in previous videos. So this is the hardest section. You need to know the basics before you do anything regarding this, and then we'll be moving on to subtracting fractions in next video. Of course we'll be doing the same format for it. So let's just go first to where it all started realistically. It's right here. So this is our main format. Level 1 is same denominators but different numerators, so you're pretty much basic. 3/5 plus 1/5 equals something. Okay, and now level 2 is different numerators and different denominators. It's a two-step equation realistically. Of course they are in previous videos as well. Now level 3, it's the hardest one. It's applying knowledge in a worded problem. Okay, so if I just give me a second. So this was an example that I put in the previous video for a level 3 tryout kind of thing. This was in the level 2 video, or my most recent one, pretty much. And this is what we'll be kind of seeing, but I'm doing this in a little different format. Of course, later on in this video we'll be going into the I do's and you do's kind of thing, and I'll make sure you can pause it for that. But I will also go over it as well. So this was an example, but we are not going to be doing this example. That was in a previous video. If you want to pause it now just to try it out, then here you go, and then please pause it and then resume straight away once you're finished. Okay then, so you should hopefully you wanted to get that other equation down. So here we go. So of course, as you should know, we are going to level 3, so let's go into it. Okay, so before we do a level 3 kind of equation, we are doing a little bit of linking. So this is basically just revision, with level 1 being one-step equations. Of course, previous videos are for that. And then level 2 is a two-step, of course. This should only just be revision for you. Everyone should realistically know what a one-step equation is for adding fractions and a two-step. So let's do an example. But of course, if you are unsure, this is done in a previous video. Okay, so this is the I do section. So before I do anything, I'll just make people aware whenever I do worded problems, I always say it out loud first. So you may be able to understand it a little bit more rather than just the text. I'll be saying it in significant ways, so you know which part is the main bit pretty much. So this is the bit I will do, but you can follow along as well if you want to. Okay, so students take a survey. They don't know the calculation nor the answer. So okay, so we know that students did a survey. Here are the results. Student 1 got 2/15. Student 2 got 7/10. Student 3 got 15 out of 30. Okay. Calculate the sum of the survey fraction results. You must show your working, and it is a 3-mark answer. So if I was a student in this kind of thing, I would make sure I look for the most important information. So the results, so student 1, student 2, student 3's results must be important. You need to know. And then this actual main bit, so sum. sum is something I will need then of the survey fraction results right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of sectoring now. I did do this beforehand, so I will not be doing any excess writing, but I'll be showing you prior. Okay, so if I was a student in an exam doing this kind of equation, I would jot everything down I need to know. So here we go. So I've got the 3 survey results, so 2/15, 7/10, and 15/30 or 1/2, but in this we need 15/30. Okay, so it also said sum, of course, there it is, calculate the sum of the survey fraction results. Okay, so in case you don't know some basic terminology, sum just means add up or give a total of. Okay, so first of all, I do notice that this may seem complicated at first, but it really isn't. It's actually very simple. You've just got one additional fraction just trying to scare you. Okay, so here is what you need to do. So I always go into my level 2 knowledge now. So I know there's different denominators. So I need a common denominator. Of course, you already be seeing what the answer is at the bottom. So please be aware. So first of all, it did say the calculation wasn't known. So I've done the calculation and I've got a mark for it. Now this mark would only be given via making the calculation. If they already knew the calculation, then this would not be a mark, but they didn't know it. They may have not mentioned it, but it's one of them cheeky marks that not many people would get, and because they just don't think about it. Can making it the actual equation be a mark? Of course it really could. So now it's the common denominator. Well, 10, 15. Now, when I did this, I recognised that 10, 15 will not go together in any times tables. They are not going to be the same. But 30, 15, 10, well, they all link up. Now, here is why. If you I do a little bit of writing here. If I do 10 times 3, 30 times 1, 15 times 2, they all equate to the same answer, 30, 30, 30. Well, as you can tell, this was the most common. So these are now significantly common, so this means that the denominator is 30. Okay, you could also have various other examples. Another one could be 60. So 60 and a couple more, but I'm just only going to name that one for now, just to make sure that we get the you do example in quite a bit of time. Okay, so now we've all placed it in. Now I did forget to mention one thing. So here is the next bit. Of course, this is just box standard level 2. This is pretty much revision. So I recognise that the common denominator is got to be 30. I used 30 as a prior example since it's the lowest common factor. Actually, wait, no, lowest common multiple, sorry. I do apologise. So it all must be 30. Now these are now common. And so now it's what I need to do. Well, 1530 has not changed. Here's why. 1530, well, 30 times 1, as I demonstrated here, is 30. So the numerator will not be changed. Now I'm going to go to the second hardest, which is the 2/15, which is just doubled, really. Of course, if I show again here, relating to this, well, I noticed that 15 times 2 is 30. Okay, so that means 2 times 2 equals 4, or in some aspects, 2 squared. So now it's the hardest one. It's the 7/10. Well, I already knew 10 times 3 was 30. So 7 times 3, well, that's of course going to equate to 21. Now there's two ways of doing it. One is mentally and then the other one is with a method. And with finding the common denominator on workings, you would get your second mark. Okay, so now it's this bit. So this is going to be the long route, which is just the casual column method, or a method that it goes to your preference. My preference is the column method, so I've used the column method to actually present the answer. Of course, is 40, or you can just do it mentally and do it 21 plus 15 plus 4 on its own. Well, that's 40. Now here are your possible answers that you could have. So you could have 430. Of course, this will be correct. You can have 1 and then 110 over 30. Again, of course, very possible. You can have 4/3, of course, if you simplified. And then if you simplified and turned into a mixed number of 1 and 1/3. Of course, that is your 3 mark. Any of them answers is acceptable, but if it asks you, then you must simplify, null and void, and then these two are null and void. Okay, but these on the other end will still be alright. But if it's a must simplify, then these will be wrong. They are not simplified, of course. Simplified. Do excuse the spelling. You well, hopefully get the point. Alright, let's get straight into the you do now. Okay, so I will read out the equation like I would. Okay, doctor's in a hospital to treat a patient, but he says the following. Okay, Dr. 1 made me comfortable for 2/3 of the time, but Dr. 2 made sure I was safe for 5/15 of the time, or 1/3. But in this, it's 5/15 of the time, and Dr. 3 made sure I was confident 1/3 of the time. So that's what this man has said. Okay. What is the sum of the doctor's stats all summed up? You must show your working. That's again a 3 mark answer. So let me go through this pretty self-explanatory. Of course, I'll give you some time to pause the video and try it out for yourself before I go over it. Okay, so hopefully you had a go at it. So if I was a student, I would again pick out all this information. So for this second example, I will need the following: 2/3, 5/15, 1/3. Okay, so this is all we have right now. So we don't need which doctor's which, because it wants the sum of the doctors, which is, in case you didn't know a bit of English, that's plural, or more than one. Of course, there was 3 doctors in this instance. Okay, so we need a common denominator. First of all, of course, this is some basic level 2 stuff. This should be revision. Well, 3 is common, so what will I need to change? The 15? Well, I can't, really. So the 15 has to be the most common now. Can 15 and 3 go together? Well, of course they can. 15 divided by 3 is, of course, 5. So this will mean that the 2 and the 1 both must be multiplied by 5. So this is how I would lay it out. 1, 1, and 1 equals that. 15, 15, 15. Okay, there we go. So, now it's a good thing. Now, this is one of the nicer, more exam questions you will get. So if you're timesing this all by 5, well, let's do the easiest with 5/15, of course, not changing. Okay, so now 1/3. Well, I have given away a little bit, since the 3's were the same, they both must be times by 5. So, well, 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Of course, it's not asked me to simplify. So, 15 is going to be an answer now. I'm going to use my mental method, which is 10 plus 5 plus 5, which equals 20. So, the answer must be 20 15s, but of course, acceptable answers will be the following. 1 over 5/15. Okay. You can have 4/3, 4/3, 1 over 3, and of course 20 and 15. All these are acceptable. Remember, if it asks me to simplify, then of course these ones in the arrow will not be acceptable. This one on the other hand will, because it's been simplified to the most it can be. Of course, we'll go to simplifying improper fractions, mixed numbers in a later topic regarding fractions. So, let me address your marks here. Okay, so we've got some working out marks. So, you're showing that you've got the common denominator. That's a mark. Now you're showing the calculation what you need to do. That's the mark. Now, and then did you get the answer? Well, of course you did, meaning all 3 marks. Congratulations if you got any of them answers of the following: 2/15, 1 whole and 5/15, 4/3, and then 1 whole and 1/3. Okie dokies. Now I've apparently dragged on for a little bit. So, what'll be happening next? Okay. So, this next one will be a very short one, just introducing to the topic. We are moving on from adding, we are going to do the opposite. We are basically going to go back to basics. We are going through only level 1. Of course, we are subtracting. So yeah, that will be it for this video. Of course, so it's been quite a long one, but it's it's the hardest thing, and I need to make sure you know as more than what I will. So I do have to drag on a couple times, but yeah, this will be Kicking Life 12 Education. See you later. Goodbye.